How stupid is Einstein's theory? Albert Einstein has two theories and both contradict each other, but the real problem is not that Einstein's theory is stupid, but that stupid people believe he is talking about our universe, and that is why I asked the question, how stupid is Einstein's theory? The reason Einstein has two theories that contradict each other is simple. Nikola Tesla laughed at the first one since it did not make any common sense. In his first theory, light was dynamic and the universe was static. But as Tesla pointed out, what kind of universe does not allow things to move? So Einstein came out with a second theory that light and the universe are dynamic. Tesla could not stop laughing till Einstein finally denounced it. Tesla said that people cannot think clearly nor deeply while staying clear. So to understand Tesla and Einstein, we must talk about Aspies, or autistic people on the high-functioning end of the spectrum. Having learned late in life that I was one, I came to realize that we do not think like normal or neurotypicals. So I started reading books about how people think, and found the book was wrong because it was written by a neurotypical. And while I was in the military, I started to question others. One master sergeant told me we all think the same, and I knew deep down he is right. We all have the same ability to think the same, but we do not, and why is simple. Intelligence is our ability to figure out things, but the IQ test is based on what we can remember. And the two are not the same, and in fact quite the opposite. Intelligent people have no reason to remember anything. I never do, and believe others like me do not also. We have a photographic memory for one, and not all Aspies have this, so I am only talking about a spectrum of autism that includes schizoaffective and obsessive-compulsive disorder, or OCD, in that spectrum, as the military has diagnosed me with, and why I realized how different we are. Most normal people don't memorize things, and if those answers match the test, they get rewarded for it. And everything I was taught in school is wrong, so their test is wrong, and why it is normal to be stupid and believe in stupid concepts. I call people who can understand science are at the top of their field wizards. So people like Johannes Kepler, Sir Isaac Newton, Edmund Halley, Benjamin Franklin, Nikola Tesla, and Henrietta Swan Leavitt are what I call wizards. And these people studied witchcraft, which means to read and write using words and spells that have more than one meaning. For example, English is witchcraft language since its words and spells have more than one meaning. Wizard and witches are people. Gender does not matter, but women are better witches. They write better for some reason. But for the most part, once taught witchcraft, you can understand the Torah and the condensed version known as the Bible. And we must talk about the Torah written before the 4th century when Satan changed the Torah, making the star Christ into a human named Jesus, and making Jesus Barabbas out to be the bad man for being the leader of the militia that defeated the Roman Empire for their use of money and taxation. As such, history was changed to allow money and taxation to take over the world again, and the only way they can hide their satanic ways is to make people in Psalms 23 take the mark of the beast known as a sheep like you. Also, they can lie to you and teach you stupid things to remember. Knowing you are not intelligent enough to figure this out on your own, I will try to explain to you what the truth about science is, and theory never proven to be a fact is not it. The law states that the United States is not a country, but a corporation and a franchise to the Federal Reserve, and that is treason to its Constitution, and the military or militia took an oath to execute all for treason. So do your jobs or admit that you are guilty of treason also. But this is how you are stupid, and do not understand simple things like law. And no law can make treason legal, proving all laws are not legal. And the military needs to take over now and execute all for treason, since that is the law they took an oath to. But sheep like you are too stupid to understand anything. The Torah said numbers have characters. In the beginning there was God, so God is the number 0. And it has a hole in the middle, so it is called the Holy Ghost, since you cannot see light without darkness, and that is what the Torah and all Bibles define God. So God is the ugly number and known as having no angles. So God has no dimensions in space, and why God is invisible, or the Holy Ghost. So all numbers have angles measured in degrees, and there are 0 to 9 numbers. or 10 numbers altogether, and how many humans are expected to have, so it is easy to remember. So we call each character an angel, and now you need to find Satan, the most beautiful angel of them all. Now that we understand numbers, let's talk about E equals mc squared, and that is simple to understand. The Torah said, God is all light without darkness. Therefore, God is found inside all atoms in the universe, and these atoms have three logical state changes seen under an electron microscope: solid, semi-solid, and invisible. The Torah defines this as Trinity, since it has three state changes, so let us look at these. The Father is the positive one, and in all three dimensions of space at the same time, so it is the solid and matter. The Son is the negative one and semi-solid, since it is missing one dimension in space, so it is antimatter. And ground or earth is called Mother Nature, but the zero angle or angel known as God is invisible, since there are no dimensions for space. And the atom shell, made up of neutrino particles, collapses in order for the neutrinos to move through space without burning up. So it is clear this is an electrical signal, much like our brainwave, proving this is our soul. And satanic sheep buy and sell souls by the kilowatt, and why mainstream pushes Einstein's theory so that stupid sheep believe God does not exist. And that is all religion teaches, is that God does not physically exist, or as the name of one of the angles or angels. Einstein's theory is about an alternate universe and an alternate reality, and anyone that tries to apply this to our universe has no intelligence whatsoever. Since Einstein removed God, that is all light without darkness, you are left with a universe with only neutrinos in it, and that is not our universe, since it has light in it. Now, what is really stupid, and why Tesla could not stop laughing till Einstein denounced his theory, is simple. Newton said light has no acceleration, and we know this is the truth, so light can never be dynamic. And why only stupid sheep like you believe in a theory and think it is just a way of explaining a fact, proving how stupid you are. God has no angles, so it is in the zero dimension of space, also known as ground or earth, known as Mother Nature. And the number zero is the Holy Ghost, such that God is inside all atoms, and that is the force of gravity in all of Newton's equations. So we take the mass of atoms times its acceleration, and since light has no acceleration, we are talking about the difference between our dynamic speed and that of static light. So we use differential equations, and the Torah teaches us how, with a simple primer, positive 1 plus negative 1 equals 0. So let me graph it. Once we view the Torah as witchcraft, it becomes clear why wizards and witches were hunted down and murdered by the satanic church that teaches stupid sheep who took the mark of the beast, known as sheep like you, to believe God does not physically exist, and therefore stupid people believe God does not exist. I must laugh at people who believe light without darkness does not exist. These are fools. This is calculus, and Newton did not invent it. He said he figured it out from the Torah. The top is a two-dimensional view of God, or brainwave. The 3D view below it shows it is a helix like our DNA, and therefore this was known in the Torah. The truth is simple. Governments are all owned by the Federal Reserve and ran by the military or militia, who took an oath to execute all that used money not printed by Congress. So World War III, or the Trinity or Trinary War, is about to begin to execute all the satanic sheep who use money not printed by Congress and believe God does not physically exist, or God does not exist. These are called Satan. God is the one you cannot see, since God is inside all the atoms. There are 3 atoms. Everything trinary comes in 3: proton, neutron, and electron. The electron is the only atom with darkness in it, and its color is dependent on its frequency. Why Einstein's theory is stupid is simple. He removed God, thus light, and then expected you to believe E equals mc squared, and we know C is the constant for light he removed. So how can we square something that does not exist? F equals ma. When A is equal to the differential speed of light, square it. That is Newton's formula, and Einstein simply used it and called it his own. This is called plagiarism against the law, proving his theories are stupid, and only sheep like you would believe God does not exist, knowing light does. I am the light wizard in the flesh.